Zimbabwe cash crisis worse. Talking about Venezuela once again. Systemic important banks. They removed the one factor inclusion they are called monetary awareness. Hey there, hope all is well. Back here today with some more RT News updates. And as you can tell from today's title, we're going to be talking about the idea that the Security and Exchange Commissioner, Kara Stein, during last week's presentation at the Brook Institute in DC, mentioned that the current situation when it comes to retirement is approaching somewhat of a tsunami. And so today I have an article I want to share with you in regards to some of the details about last week's speech. But more importantly, it's just one more sign from an individual who's in the know on what's currently happening now and what is expected to come. So before I dive into today's articles, as always,
next recession.
Recession will be a recession.
We're going to hit a recession.
The date of the next recession.
A U.S.-only recession typically lasts 8 to 10 months.
A crash is coming now, whether it's 6 months from now, 12 months, 36 months, no one knows.
If you have the right plan to set up, you can make a lot of money from this.
So as I mentioned today, I have just two articles I want to share with you in reference to the idea that the retirement crisis is underway, and there's no real way of solving it due to the fact that monetary policy has eroded the idea of typical investments being able to actually accrue some type of interest on the long term. So it's becoming more apparent from a variety of people, especially when the SEC commissioner mentions that we're currently approaching somewhat of a tsunami in this retirement crisis that we're going to talk about in a second. But yet in reality, with all these market gyrations happening right now in the stock market realm, especially what's happening in the European area as well as in Asia, so it's just a matter of time before something gives, causing everything to come crashing down. So as always, if you're interested, feel free to scroll down below to read the articles for yourself. Just want to scan through the surface, give you something to think about, and share my opinion with you at the very end. So the very first article here is from Newsmax Finance as of last week, and it says SEC Commissioner warns retirement crisis tsunami approaching. Give you a little bit of what's going on here. It says Commissioner Kara Stein reportedly has warned that the retirement crisis is a tsunami that is rapidly approaching. Stein spoke on the Brooks Institution on Tuesday, giving a talk titled, quote, "The New American Dream, Retirement Security." She's quoted saying, "We've moved from a collective retirement system to one in which each person is expected to go at it alone." It says, quote, "The retirement crisis is a tsunami that is rapidly approaching. We can already see it, and indeed we are starting to feel its effects. Americans are having to work past traditional retirement age," unquote. It says, quote, "And the number of bankruptcies for those over age 65 has increased dramatically. The size and speed of the tsunami is likely to increase as it gets closer and closer to us." And then towards the bottom, it touched a little bit on the whole Social Security pension aspect of things. And so I actually want to go next to the actual speech that she gave at the Brooks Institute. It's called The New American Dream, Retirement Security. So it's quite long, but if you take a second to read through it, I'll highlight some of the main points in it. And it says, "Unfortunately for many Americans, the ability to achieve financial security in retirement is increasingly tenuous. It says, since World War II, Americans have planned their retirements around the expectations of a combining a pension, Social Security benefits, and personal savings to provide sufficient income for the golden years. It says the combination of these three sources is commonly referred to as the three-legged stool of retirement. It is based on the understanding that any one of these legs has historically been insufficient standing alone, but that together these three legs can create a strong foundation." So here we have the idea of what's considered to be three legs for a sound retirement. It has to do with the idea of a pension, Social Security, and savings. And so if you follow RTD before, you know that half the population has no savings. Social Security is very questionable now and moving forward, and it being able to sustain your livelihood. And then the number one leg when the retirement scheme was introduced was the idea of a pension, where the employer will be responsible for taking care of you for the rest of your life. And we know how that all played out. It's no longer available for most people. It says in recent years, each of these legs has become wobbly due to a number of factors. The financial health of the Social Security Trust Fund has been declining. It says, given the limited availability, employer-sponsored pensions, and Social Security declining financial health, we are headed towards a world in which personal savings may be the most significant source of income for retirees. So here we have the idea that she's mentioning that because all those conventional means of saving for retirement, pensions, as well as the questions surrounding Social Security, puts all the pressure on you, the individual, to save dollars. And then as I scroll down a little bit more, she gives what can be considered solutions, but in actuality, it's not really much of a solution. It says the possible solutions for the retirement crisis are multifaceted and involve many people and many government entities. So here we have the idea that in order to get some solutions, some viable options for people to have a secure retirement, we need many people, many government entities. So basically more government. It says, my brief remarks this morning will not address the fundamental role of Social Security in the retirement paradigm or the difficulties many low-wage workers face in saving at all, SEC Commissioner. I'm here to talk about solutions specifically related to the third leg of the stool, investments. And so she go on to mention some ways of helping people be able to save more in through traditional investments, which is also going to be a problem. And so it talks about educating investors, giving them better information in the school system and things of that nature. Then it says enhancing investment advice, making sure that the advisors you're working with are well versed in multiple things, as if that's going to really outdo the monetary powers that be. Then another one says incentivizing investors, which is basically finding ways to help people and to encourage people to want to save more. Then the very last part, she wraps it up in saying, Today we as a nation face a fast approaching crisis, an aging population with sufficient resources to fund a secure retirement. This crisis is a collective problem. Unless solved, will cause many individual tragedies. And the last article here is out of Newsmax as of today. It touches on the pension situation, which is one of those three legs of the stool. And it says pension crisis escalating to dangerous 400 trillion level. So if you scroll down, it gives you more of an idea of how bad the situation is when it comes to underfunded pensions across this country. But more importantly, it says worldwide pension shortfall to reach 400 trillion by 2050. And in my honest opinion, I doubt we make it that far with this whole concept of retirement in the way that it's viewed at now. So more information there if you're interested in reading for yourself. Just want to shine a little light on what's happening in the news today. Things that you will not hear about or have not heard from mainstream sources, especially when the commissioner here comes out and said that there's a retirement crisis, tsunami fast approaching. And then she talks about the stool with three legs, which has been Social Security, a savings account, and a pension. And we all know that all three of those right now are being tested. And it's good to say if one or if any of them break, everything else will break behind it. So interested in finding out your thoughts on this matter. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this tsunami and how are you preparing for it if you're one of the individuals that have that stool with the three legs on it, expecting to be able to sit on that stool for the rest of your life. Leave a comment below. Let me know. Other than that, look forward to bringing you more news. Enjoy your day.